Thanks a lot, guys. Well, we are now recording. Full disclosure and Rotary model.
Service above self.
All right, please stand. Put your hand over your heart and join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty
and justice for all.
Liberty and justice for all.
I petered out at the end. Jackie is right. It's much better when you talk slowly. All right, please join me in a moment's silence. Thank you, everyone. And if you haven't yet, welcome John Hosey, our guest speaker today. He's going to tag along with us as we muddle through a few announcements and talk a lot about service and service projects. And I'll ask, so we just get it out of the way, Randy to give us a quick status on the golf cart raffle.
Oh, the golf cart raffle is going well. The publicity is really paying off. The sales of tickets through Ray Fields and Boy 56 really inspiring. I had to take some more tickets down to Boy 56 the other day. And I guess they're planning, I guess, an outdoor sidewalk sort of sales pitch over the weekend. So she was very excited about that. Starting the end of, well, I guess next week, if you haven't turned in your ticket proceeds and remaining tickets, if any, they're going to be collected by the three hitmen that we have. Al is one of them, Stan is one, and Mike Ozier the other. So everybody kind of get ready to make yourself available at least. It's going to be easy. They'll just show up with envelopes. You can put your proceeds in the envelope and be an individual envelope for each person. So that'll keep it simple and straightforward. And we're anxious to see how we're doing. Anyone that needs additional tickets, just let me know. We still have an ample supply. So we're in good shape for that. Saturday, we will be at Cherry Stone with umbrellas probably, but we will be there. And I guess pending how well that goes, we can then take a look at going down to Sunset Beach and doing it again. We're going to try to evaluate how well things go at the campground. So we're in good shape. Everybody keep up the good work.
Thanks, Randy, and thank you to your extended team. You guys are doing a great job. Regina, I didn't say hi to you. Hi, Regina.
Hi. Hello. Okay,
tomorrow we need a few more strong backs. You all, most of you will remember John Calder. John Calder is a former Rotarian, but probably the hardest working Rotarian. John, Chuck, and I will be driving up to the Coalition Against Domestic Violence, finishing up the playground for the youngsters, primarily raking rubber mulch around and getting it all smoothed out. So if you're available tomorrow afternoon to be up there at 3 o'clock and you own a rake or a shovel, let me know and I'll give you the details. The location of the safe house is a well-kept secret and I intend to keep it. So it'll be a one-on-one kind of exchange of information. I'm proud to announce that one of our Rotarians has been invited to be on the board of the Eastern Shore Coalition Against Domestic Violence. And guess who that is?
You.
No, yeah, I was, but no more boards.
Jackie.
Jackie is
Yeah.
about to become a board member there. We have a,
Hey,
we have a strong relationship with the coalition, and I'm really happy that Jackie is stepping up and helping them out.
I'm gonna make more enemies.
And you know what? She's right. But we're working on that. Okay, it's about time that you all start thinking about helping Tammy out with her basket project. Remember the Eastern Shore Public Library annually has a basket contest where organizations put together baskets that are bid on, and they raise money. We had, when Medi ran it 2 years ago, we missed last year. We were in second place, but I think we were cheated. So if you can help Tammy out, and helping out means you're running around getting stuff for her to go in the basket, or maybe you're volunteering something to be in the basket, something of value, like maybe 10 bottles of honey. 10 bottles of honey.
He's on mute.
There he is.
So be thinking about the
told you I
basket.
I told you I might have drifted off, right?
I know how to undrift you. So
How many bottles?
that was an example of help.
Oh, okay, all right.
5 bottles would work.
Oh,
Or 2 sets of 5.
Yeah. Large bottles.
yeah.
Okay, so look, let's demonstrate to our newest Rotarian, Tammy, that we are team players and support her in that effort. And you will hear, Tammy, are you on?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You say, hey, Tammy, you say something like, hey, you clowns, help me out.
I gotcha. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
gonna do it. So,
And I know you're just getting started, but we work on this. Generally, it takes 2 or 3 weeks before anybody knows what we're talking about. So be patient.
Hey,
I'll
Bill,
help
Bill,
Oh, you got a volunteer already, Tammy.
good.
We
hey,
have to
Bill,
do
real
it
quick.
June because
Question
we're leaving in
on
July.
the work effort tomorrow at 3 PM. It is top secret. I don't know where it is. Are we carpooling up there?
Yeah.
Okay. I have a bigger vehicle. I can drive if you can navigate.
Yeah. That'd be
Okay.
super.
All right, I'll swing by your house, what, around 2:45 then? I'm sorry, around 2 o'clock then?
A little bit before,
Okay,
because we got to pick up John,
all right.
who lives all the way across the street.
Oh, no, okay.
And if he's not careful, we'll grab Al.
All right,
All right, yeah, so Jackie's going to help you out, and Jackie, this goes all the way into the fall, so there's plenty of time for you to.
Oh, okay, yes.
Okay, so we got you one volunteer already, Tammy. Okay, mark down again, June 5th. June 5th is when the Chesapeake Bay Foundation has their Clean the Bay Day. And we're not going to be exactly cleaning the bay. We'll be working on the Rosenwall School. And they're trying to figure out parking for that. But I'd like you to, think of it as a cleaning up the highway 184. It's on a Saturday, probably Saturday morning. We'll get in, we'll get out, and you'll feel good about helping helping in the neighborhood. So, oh, Robert, you there, Robert? Robert, oh, Robert's on mute, and he probably can't get off mute. And when he's off mute, he messes up the sound anyway, so I'll speak for him. Oh, there you are, Robert. Hey, Robert, guess who? John Hosey is on today, so be sure to, when he's on, ask him about fire hydrants.
Okay.
We'll go right to the top.
Okay.
If he can't help you, it's a lost cause.
Yeah, 'cause I'm still in Eastville. I'm still having problems in Eastville.
He can't help you with Eastville. We'll
trying to
figure
work-
Eastville out.
Yeah, I'm trying to work with Eastville, but we're having a problem there. But we'll work it out.
Yeah, we work everything out. Chuck, you want to give us? I saw some email traffic about cemeteries. What's the latest there?
Yeah, this is in regard to the cemetery restoration work that's going on over there on Seaside Road and Sunnyside Road, that intersection. And we have a couple named Glenn Purvis and his wife, Carla, have been working in there for about the last 6 weeks, and they've really come a long way. Trying to get them a little notoriety. They said that they've been contacted by the several newspapers and people stop by, oh, we want to help, and then they just don't hear from them. I contacted Jim Rich, and he seems interested in talking with them. I think they got a real good human interest story. They are super nice people. Carla really strikes me. She's very into her religion. She's very much into restoration work like this, bringing history back alive. She's originally from Texas. Glenn is originally from Virginia, but he lived in Texas for quite a while. Right now, the restoration of that cemetery, it kind of surprised me. It is an African Baptist church cemetery, and it's part of the church domain of that church over in Chariton. But they were telling me that while they're getting moral support from the church, they're getting no monetary support whatsoever. So all this work they're doing is coming out of their pockets. So I thought we could get them a little notoriety if we can get a little blast in the local paper. Maybe we can somehow organize some fundraising things, or maybe, we can open up for some ideas, and let's see what the community can do.
And Chuck, as president-elect, you'll be surprised at the power you have. So you might even be able to just get some money out of Paul's treasury and help him out.
Hard to do.
But but hey, Chuck,
I have documentation.
he can be worn down. But hey, Chuck,
Yeah.
you're definitely on the right track, and we thank you for that. Okay, Diane, you want to tell us about the Caboose Project?
Yes, we had a wonderful on-site visit yesterday. And I mentioned earlier, we got a chance to meet Mike Ash, the board person who's our contact person. And he sent me a note this morning. I had asked him about the turnaround time for getting supplies and materials because the museum does have some monies to do that. And he's been working with Northampton Lumber to make some arrangements. So I asked him what he thought the turnaround time would be for getting things. And he said very quickly, it's just going to be a matter of knowing what we need and picking it up. So that was really good news to hear. So we did a walkthrough yesterday of the inside and the exterior. We wanted to remind ourselves of what we had seen before. You'll recall that this started in the fall of 2019, and then the pandemic hit before we could actually get to work. So we needed to remind ourselves of what we had seen, and also determine whether or not there had been any further deterioration. And so there was not, and I'll let Chuck comment because he got up on the roof and walked around up there.
Oh,
But I don't think it was anything so terrible up there. But we did make notes on, what we need, and we're going to be, once I get everybody's notes, we're going to put together a work plan, and then we can start reaching out for volunteers. So I am going to let Chuck give kind of a recap of, because he did get up on the roof of the train.
Yeah, Diane's right. Fortunately, we didn't see any further deterioration from what we saw a year and several months ago. We determined as a group, we're gonna do an outside to inside restoration and top down. We want to get that roof fixed first. And we see couple spots where it looked like some water was getting in. So we may need some welding here and there up on the cupola where it joins the roof. The cupola is a little extension window clerestory on top of the caboose. And where that meets up with the rest of the roof, there's some spots there where the water is getting inside. So we want to get that fixed, and then we can actually start sanding down the roof and start the paint job there and then work our way down. Once the outside's pretty much done, we're pretty assured then that there's not going to be any more water getting to the inside. Then I think Medi and Diane will pick it up from there. I mean, they can start their planning now, but we're going to leave the interior work, planning and design up to Medi and Diane. And of course, we'll be there to move things around or do whatever they need. It'll need painting on the inside, and we're going to let Diane and Medi determine color schemes and so forth. So I think it's going to be a pretty neat project. We're going to need a lot of help. It can't be just me, Paul, and a couple of other, Mike and Larry. It's going to be a pretty big deal. So we're not looking for solid. I mean, if we can get some solid volunteers to really help us, that's great. But if you have a little bit of time and you like swinging a paintbrush, please join us. We're looking for all the help we can get from the members.
okay.
We may even be able to solicit some of the younger folks who need to build up some hours for community service work to get to get through high school and graduate. So we're looking for any help we can get.
Chuck, be sure to mention that to John tomorrow because we'll probably carpool together. John Coulter, he'll be I think interested in helping. Okay, well certainly we are fleshing out our volunteer projects tree, but we can keep thinking about things we can do. I think the Caboose will be a tremendous opportunity for a Rotary wheel. People will be visiting the Caboose and they'll see the Rotary wheel. All right.
Gabler has his hand up.
David, where are you? Oh, David, take yourself off mute, David.
Thank you. Could I please make a quick announcement about something of concern? The Northampton County Board of Supervisors is having a work session tonight, and I think they could use some guidance on how they're grappling with a $2 million surplus from the American Rescue Plan funding, how to spend it, what to do with it. And I just wanted to remind everyone about some of the neediest people here on the Eastern Shore, right here in our county. I'm sure the board would welcome any comments from folks here about any suggestions you might have of what they can do with that funding. So their meeting is tonight, but you can just send an email to Janice Williams or Charles Kolakowski at the Eastville at the Northampton County website. So thank you. I didn't mean to take up our valuable time with that, but I thought it'd be appropriate.
It absolutely is, David, and I thank you for that. And do you know the time?
And is it a
I
Zoom
believe
meeting?
it's a work session, you know, it's not an official public meeting.
Oh, okay.
It's their, you know, they have a work session at the end of each month.
Okay, so it's a matter of shooting an email to our supervisors.
Yeah, you can say, well, hey, let's send it, use it for food, shelter, and clothing, or whatever you might have to recommend to the Board of Supervisors. I think this is a good opportunity for us to each one of us to weigh in on a fairly major amount of money for our county.
Oh,
to be
yeah.
spent on behalf of our needy citizens. Thank you.
No, thank you, David. Okay, Paul, I'm sure in 2 minutes or less, where are we on COVID?
We are doing very well with COVID. We're down, the numbers are down most places to levels not seen since the spring of 2020. That's true of the state as a whole. That's true of Northampton County, which only had one new case this past week. And Cape Charles, I'm pleased to say, is down to 0 for 2 weeks in a row now in the Cape Charles zip code. So that's all excellent news. And I've noted the governor and his announcements on the 14th, I think it was, said that he was going to further relax or ease the restrictions on the 28th. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but I have the impression on some things I've read is that there will be no more requirements for social distancing or mask wearing.
Wow. Any questions for Paul? Well, that's good news. And related to that, last week we conducted a survey to determine the attitude of the membership with regard to going back to in-person meetings. And I'm delighted. We got a pretty good response. We got 22 responses. One actually came in today, but it's counted. And the question was, given the fact that you will get your vaccination, you have to have your vaccination, no ifs or buts. Do you prefer before or after Labor Day for convening at the coffee house? And of the 22 responses, 15 of you were okay with before Labor Day. Like, you know, maybe we could start in August. And 22 of you were ready to go back right after Labor Day, which is great because we were looking at a number in excess of 20 to make it, you know, a good cost-effective endeavor. I had already spoken with Roberta. She would be delighted, you know, to have us back tomorrow. But I think probably the prudent thing to do is to wait until after Labor Day when things have slowed down a little bit for Roberta. And, the town just kind of changes to start face-to-face meetings. So we will, Chuck will lead us through that as we go through the summer. But I'm excited about our getting together again like we used to 18 months ago. Interim to that, keep in mind that we're going to have a meeting in Central Park on August 17th at 6 o'clock. And that's where we bring our lawn chairs, and the coffee house will do a box dinner for us. So that's great news. Any comment or feedback? This is where, you know, we just kind of talk about it. I can't believe it. Nobody has anything to say.
We concur.
Everybody's on board.
Yeah, everybody's on board. Okay, go ahead, John.
Before we get to the anything else, can I make a quick comment about the YMCA?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, as most of you know, the grand opening ribbon cutting is 11 o'clock Saturday. I'm still not clear, but I will let you know as to whether they want all of us there or some of us there. It seems to me there might be a bit of a parking issue, but I'll leave it up to them. Then I also sent an email to certain members who are actively involved or will be involved in fundraising. Stanley has civic organizations. You might hit up Mr. Hosey for the town of Cape Charles, because they haven't contributed anything that I know of yet, and Cheriton has, so maybe why he's here. Anyway,
John, be kind to our guests.
I know. Anyway, the other thing is, for those of you, there are 16 Rotarians who have joined the program, meaning there are 20 some of you who have not. And I have some acquaintances from East Baltimore, which Chuck would probably know about, that will come down just for gas mileage and visit you if you haven't decided to join. So I would encourage you to search your soul. You don't have to do the $300 per year, $1,500, but I really like to see everybody put some money in. We have 16 members who have together put in $31,500. So if the rest of you can put in, 10 or 12 or something like that, would be a great showing for the Rotary Club. I would appreciate your consideration. You will get some contact from me, and hopefully not the boys from Baltimore. So, okay. Thank you.
Hey, John,
Bill.
thank you. And
Bill.
let me just echo. I would love, and Chuck would love to see us be 100% participating on a personal level. And I don't care if you just like give John $10 that he passes on. We all of us have different situations, and maybe this year isn't your year to give more than $5 or $10 to the Y, but get that $10, and then we can say we're 100% square behind the YMCA, because Rotary and YMCA, that's like two peas in the pod. In my
Bill, I might offer to him. Bill's our greatest fundraiser, everybody knows, or at least salesman, that when you're soliciting other people, if the Rotary is fully behind it, it makes it a lot easier. So it's just something else to think about. And again, it doesn't mean you have to be into the level that everybody else is, but just be in. I'd appreciate it.
Isn't
Hey,
there
Bill,
tomorrow, John? You're muted. What did you say?
Okay.
Isn't there an open house tomorrow?
No, it's the 29th.
Oh,
Yeah, Bill Payne showed up about a month ago, I think. Is that right, Bill?
April 29th.
April 29th.
I'm out there in the parking lot. Where's
That's why he's not
everybody?
going to be the president next year.
that's why he is the president.
Okay, you're right. You're right.
Hey, Bill,
You're right. You're right.
Hey,
Hey,
wait.
Bill.
How you got in, Bill? You have to have a hard hat.
I carry one in the trunk.
Well, you won't have to have on Saturday. It's actually the official opening at 11 to 11:30. The ribbon cutting. After that, it's open house to 5 o'clock. So they'll have
Okay.
refreshments and all that kind of stuff too for those that hang around. So I will get back to everybody about the ribbon cutting, whether they want everybody that can be there or just the ones that they've invited. I don't know the answer to that yet.
Well, Randy and his mob will be selling tickets at Cherry Stone.
Right.
And,
Hey, Bill, I have a real quick question regarding that to Randy. There was some question about limited parking at Cherry Stone. Do we have any kind of organized sharing rides to get over there or anything yet?
we will by Saturday.
Okay.
Mike
Chuck, you
having
gotta
them-
stop this strategic planning. It doesn't work for Rotary.
Mike is having them set aside 5 car passes. And I think there are 4 or 5 of us going in my truck leaving from Bill's Saturday morning. And I know of 2 other people that are planning to be there. So we should be in good shape in so
Okay.
far as cars.
Yeah.
Yes,
Come,
so
come.
Yes.
why- John Burtis, how do you become a charter member of the Y?
Talk to Andre.
Oh, that's a lot of help.
Well, that's what I did. He took care of it. Just send him an email.
No,
saying,
Andre, just
"Charter
call
member."
Andre.
Don't mention Bill's name. Just do it on your own.
I'll just add, by the way, for the YMCA, you can throw $5 or $10 in the hat if you want to, but it won't even buy you a brick. John Burtis reminded me that I'm head of the brick camp. I'd totally forgotten that, but I'm in charge of selling bricks. I just found out this morning again, and they're going to be $35 a brick this year. It's a special deal.
45, Paul.
Oh, 45,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. The bricks are $50, and Rotary's going to throw in $5. This year and next year, the bricks will cost you $50 each, and the bricks are going to go somewhere.
Is that an engraved brick or just a blank brick?
Engraved brick, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, super. Okay, well, we're going to keep talking about the bricks until we're 100%. And you're going to buy a brick because you don't want to hear about bricks anymore. So I'm going to be a nasty about this one. I grew up in the YMCA, and if it wasn't for the Y, you wouldn't have me. No, no.
That may be my problem. That's what you said that before. I think that's been the problem.
Okay, enough of that.
My boy
Diane, what time is it? What time is it, Diane?
Okay, it is time for
Happy dollars. Happy dollars. And we're
Bill, I'll start us off here.
Now we want to be quick on happy dollars because John has a lot to tell us, or I know we have a lot of questions for John. Paul, you're the first happy dollar.
I'm going to lead this off with $1. Ginger and I took a little trip, our first trip post-COVID, end of this past week. We went down to Abingdon, Virginia, which is extreme southwest Virginia, and biked the what's it called? The oh crap, I can't remember.
Called the Creeper Trail, Paul.
Appellation.
The Virginia Creeper Trail. Have you heard of that?
Yes.
It starts at the top of a mountain and goes downhill first half of it, but then kind of uphill back to Abingdon. It's 34 miles long and beautiful trail it's a rails to trails trail, one of the first and one of the best known. And it was great fun.
Thank you, Paul. Reggie, you're next.
Yes, I had to jump in before John Burtis because I don't want him to embarrass me too much. I'm going to do $5 instead of his $500 today. But our granddaughter, as you all know, a couple of months ago moved to Charlotte, North Carolina, or Durham, North Carolina area, to be a director of one of the Duke Hospital's HR department organization. And this weekend, her husband and one of our great grandsons, who's just finishing school for the year, will get to move up with them. So we're just excited that they're going to be back together up in Durham, North Carolina, beginning this weekend. So $5 for that.
And Durham is my hometown, so that's great news.
Yes, I know it's your hometown, Di.
So Diane, when you speak during Happy Dollars, how many are you contributing?
I'll match whatever it was Reggie said, and I don't remember what he said.
$5.
All right.
Thank you, Diane.
Just don't match John Burtis.
There's no matching John Burgess.
Are there any others?
I
Okay,
have one.
Walter, who was late joining us. Walter? Yeah, Walter, we don't hear you. Don't hear you, Walter. Fix your machine. Just hold up the number of dollars. with your
Little fingers.
$1 from. Okay, moving on. Thank you, Walter. I'm sure you're happy about something great. Is that
Tammy
it?
wanted in, Bill.
What's that?
Tammy.
Tammy, I'm sorry, Tammy.
I have one. My son, he's in Rockville, Maryland, and he's a research scientist. And I got the great news that his team, and he's discovered a biomarker for kidney cancer, and he's getting ready to have another paper published in a medical journal. And he's had several in the past. So he's really doing well for, cancer. So I'm going to give $5 for that, and $5 for becoming a Rotarian, total of 10.
All right.
Wow, Tammy, thank you. And it must be great to have a smart kid.
That's
David,
fantastic.
and then you, Jackie. David next.
Thank you, Bill. I'd like to put $5 out there in honor of my dear friend Greg Losey, who passed away last Thursday morning. And I it's appropriate for happy dollars because he's in a better place right now. The poor guy was suffering from cancer and finally gave in to his hard fight. And Greg and his wife Laura were very early proponents of the revitalization of Cape Charles from the early 1990s until 2008 when they moved to Yorktown. Back in those days, the harbor in Cape Charles was a dump, literally. It was not a place you could tie a boat up safely, at least not a pleasure boat. And so I know there's a few of us here in our group who remember the Loseys and remember those days when the town had no care about the harbor. It had other bigger problems to solve. And the harbor now is like our front porch for the town of Cape Charles. And I know that the town council and the people in Cape Charles really appreciate the special nature of our harbor that we have and the diversity that it offers us. And so in honor of Greg Losey and the efforts he made to attract attention to our harbor, helping us with tall ships visitation, and I just want to let everybody know we've lost a real fan of the town of Cape Charles. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Jackie, you'll wrap up happy dollars.
Okay, I want to give 5 happy dollars. The last episode of All Rise on CBS was last night, and my son directed it. So you can watch that.
All right.
See his name come up, and he's in New York now for a month doing something. I don't know for sure. And then he leaves there and he goes to Atlanta for 2 weeks. So he's beginning to get more work. And I can say, I'll go with you to the Academy Award.
Thank you, Jackie. So Tammy isn't the only one with a smart kid. That is super. Now, John, we ran, you see how we do, John. And John, the only way you can control this is to become a Rotarian. It's the Cape Charles Rotary Club. And you are Mr. Cape Charles as town manager. And we welcome you today. and it's only tongue in cheek. We would really welcome you as a Rotarian. I think you'd enjoy the break from a very important job that just must wear you out. Having a little fun with some friends and make more friends for about an hour each week. All you have to do is walk down the street, and we'll keep talking about that. But John, welcome to Rotary. It's your show. I would just say, tell us a little bit about what's going on from your perspective, and then we probably have a few questions for you. Welcome, John.
Sure. Well, thank you. Thanks for having me. And yeah, as the dust starts to settle and I start getting my sea legs here with some of the things I'm trying to do, yeah, I'd be happy to consider that. I've been a Rotarian before.
There you go.
Yeah, so we've been busy this past year, even despite COVID. Lots of things that we're trying to fix and do some more long-term planning and that sort of thing. And probably one of the things I'm most pleased about that we've done recently is the town has developed a strategic plan that was adopted in February. That's something that we'll update every year and involve the community with. And so if you haven't taken a look at the strategic plan, it's on the website under the manager's page. It was designed to be fairly short and to the point, and lays out our vision and goals for the community, and would welcome your input on that when it comes time for updates next year. We plan to do that prior to starting the budget process, so that if we need to adjust the budget accordingly to accomplish the strategic plan, we can. So that's kind of cool. But now we're into the budget process, and we're late, mostly because we were developing strategic planning and it was new, and then there was COVID complications with being able to meet and whatnot. And so we're a little behind the power curve on getting the budget done, but we're closing in on it. We have hopefully our last work session tonight. The bad news is we're pretty tight. Taxes have not been raised in Cape Charles in many years. And in fact, rates have actually gone down. What councils have done in the past is as property values go up, they lower the rate so that the money coming in stays the same. You can get away with that for a while, but after a number of years, it catches up with you and it's caught up with us. And so we're going to have some difficult discussions with the council tonight about how we balance the budget. And there's a number of different ways that we might try to do that. But probably we'll be looking at some sort of rate increases for different types of things, including our utility rates, which have not gone up in 7 or 8 years either. So yeah, not the best news there, but we're trying to develop something that's sustainable and going forward. However, on the comment, I think it was it John who said something about the YMCA? We currently, the budget has not been approved yet, but I do have money programmed in the budget for the YMCA this year. So last fall they came and asked for $5,000 for the next 5 years. Couldn't do it then. We were in the middle of COVID, but I did put $5,000 in for the YMCA this year. We'll see if that survives passage. And then it was also mentioned about the COVID restrictions being lifted and the rates dropping statewide, and that's all great news. And the town's going to follow suit. So I think the governor's restrictions are lifted on the 28th of this month. Starting on June 1st, we're going to go back to normal operations. So I've only been here a little over a year myself. I mean, I got here and COVID hit 47 seconds later. So I really don't know what it's like to live in a non-COVID Cape Charles. So I'm excited about the season, and I'm excited about having the front door to town hall being unlocked, and so that people can come and do their business. So June 1st, we're hoping to be able to do that. Other than that, we're getting ready for the season. Again, all the wonderful events and things that happened in Cape Charles didn't happen last year. So this is really my first real year here. So I'm looking forward to all the things that we do. We're planning all of our normal events. with we recently had Blessing of the Fleet, which was our kind of the first thing that happened. But we're planning a normal 4th of July and all those sorts of things. Other than that, I won't take up too much more time. I just wanted to kind of reserve some time for questions.
Okay, any questions for John? John, I have one then. When you say normal 4th of July, does that mean we'll have a parade and all the vendors along Bay Avenue and,
Yes, sir. And the fireworks and the whole 9 yards.
oh, great. That is good news.
Mhm. Yeah, the concrete plants volunteered to host the fireworks display, so they'll go off from over there. So you should be able to see it well anywhere in the harbor or beach area.
John, you had a question?
Yeah, John, what are the 1 or 2 biggest challenges facing the town right now that you see going forward?
Well, the first is one I've already mentioned. We've got to get a fiscal stability going forward. We've got to get a sustainable budget that we can invest in. When you're in deficit like we were last year and we are this year, some of the first things that get cut, the easy discretionary spending that gets cut is capital spending. Well, you can't invest in your community that way very long, and then minor maintenance becomes major maintenance and actually becomes more expensive. So I'd say getting a sustainable fiscal plan going forward is probably would be my first comment on what's the most challenging thing right now. I say but close behind that is developing cost-effective housing in town. I won't say affordable housing because that means a lot of things to a lot of people, and the market has just exploded in town, and when we're having a hard time trying for our businesses and services to find places where people can live. So that's a challenge that we're trying to tackle. It actually took a lot of time in our strategic plan that we're trying to figure out how we can address a variety of housing options is the way we're calling it. So that, yeah, you've got those big mansions on the beach, but we have to have other more affordable places where workers and young families can live. And so those are kind of the 2 things we're working on.
Thanks.
John, have the applications for the July 4th celebrations gone out yet?
Yes. Mm-hmm. And anybody who needs to
We're
contact.
covered, Stan.
How's that?
The Rotary is covered, if that's what you were you thinking of the Rotary's participation?
Oh, no, well, the food vendors like the Lions.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, Jen Lewis generally handles that, and she's processing applications, as we speak. So they're still coming in, but yeah, they're open, and anybody can send something to her.
Chuck, you had a question?
Yeah, John, is there any updates as far as the former railroad yards? It would seem to me if that starts getting developed, that could be a source of revenue for the town. Obviously with COVID, maybe some of that was put aside for this past year.
Yeah, that's a good question, and it's kind of a complicated answer, I'm afraid. The issue is the status of the land itself. Of course, it was designated by the federal government as a railroad, and the original grantor of that land gave it for the purpose of being a railroad. There's a question about what would happen if the STB, if the Surface Transportation Board, were to abandon the property as a railroad. It would then become available for any other development. But if that were to happen, there's the potential that there would be a battle over who owned it. It would no longer be controlled by Canoni. It could go to the descendants of the original grantor, which is now a trust. And so the other thing that clouds the issue is that there's a national program been going on for years. It was mentioned earlier by one of your members about Rails to Trails. And there's federal legislation that says that if a qualified entity were to approach the STP to convert railroad property to trails, they have to do it. They have to do it if it's a credible proposal. And there is a proposal on the table now to create rails to trails from Cape Charles to Points North. The organization that made the proposal has done it before in other places, so they probably would be considered credible. So the STP was supposed to rule on that last summer. That got postponed until this summer. So that'll be the first indication of where they sit with the disposition of the land. But yeah, the whole thing is just kind of mired in so many different levels that we looked at it hard last year about the town potentially trying to acquire some interest out in that property. But anything that were to be built there would have to be something that could be removed should the federal government ever decide they want to railroad again. So, you know, parking lots, parks, that sort of thing you can do fairly easily. But no one's going to pay, no investor is going to build a building that could maybe have to come down if the federal government ever decided to reenact it as a railroad. That's why it's critical that the SCP abandon it as a railroad in order for it to be developed. And we're waiting to see what they do.
Thank you.
David, you have a question.
Yes, hi, John. You know, welcome to Cape Charles. Let me ask you, you know, the town's gone through some major changes in the last 30 years since I moved here. And I'm curious, do you have any idea how many of the homes are occupied as year-round residences? Or for instance, how many year-round residences are there in Cape Charles? And secondly, how many residences, that is single-family residential units, are there in Cape Charles? And of those, how many are occupied by year-round residents?
Yeah, I don't have those numbers off the top of my head. I could tell you, I was looking just today on the ones that are being rented. There are 251 residential units that are considered, short-term rentals that are subject to our tot tax, which is a fairly high number. But I would have to research the exact numbers that you're asking for. I'm sorry, I don't know those off the top of my head.
Well, let me ask you, do you know how many water and sewer accounts are in Cape Charles?
Yeah, roughly around 1,100.
So you could say there are 1,100 residential units probably.
That's a fair statement.
And so 251 are registered with the town as short-term rentals.
Correct. And that does not capture part-time residents, people who don't rent their homes out but live somewhere else.
Does it capture people who rent on Airbnb or on these sites that you can go on? And
yes, to the extent we can find them. Yeah, there's some.
The town's making an effort. In other words, you know, the tax revenue that the town can depend on from vacationers and from people who rent out their homes short term is significant. And so I'm sure you must be making an effort to, to uncover those opportunities.
Yes, yeah. Tot tax is one of our main revenue sources. Right now, we're at a 3.7% rate on that. And the 2022 budget that we're working on right now, that proposed at that rate, we're estimating about $215,000 in revenue. But in a $4 million budget, that's still, that's not insignificant, but you would have to raise rates quite a bit to close the entire deficit. But yes, that's one of the things that we'll be talking with council tonight on. Do we adjust the tot tax? Do we adjust the meals tax? Things like that will target our visitors versus just applying a higher property tax, which impacts us.
And what proportion?
So all those things will be discussed tonight.
What proportion of your tax revenue comes from real estate taxes?
Most of it, yeah, the lion's share of it. That's our single largest one.
Like 60%, 55%, or?
Well, it's about 1.2 million out of the 3. So yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Any other questions? Then I'll ask the final question. John, I compliment you on managing the relationship between the cement company and the rest of the world. Any new developments there or any concerns you have in your ability to maintain that relationship?
Actually, there has been a new development, and thank you. Yes, it's been made easier because they themselves have been very cooperative and willing to talk too. They want to be a good neighbor, but they've got a job to do. So yes, we've been working well together. One of the things that you may have heard rumors over the winter, that there was an effort for them to try to expand their footprint and to change the zoning on the south side of the harbor to heavy industrial. And that created a big uproar amongst a lot of residents on this side of the harbor. That's not happening. We've been meeting with them, and they are interested in potentially acquiring some more of the land from Southport. But it's currently zoned light industrial, and they don't intend to change that. There's one parcel over there that's surrounded by light industrial, but that one parcel is currently zoned harbor. And the only rezoning they're asking for is to have that one harbor parcel rezoned light industrial so it matches everything else. So we just got that application last week. That public hearing probably won't happen until July, but that is the most recent change that I'm aware of.
Okay, well, John, thank you so much for taking time out. We know you're busy, and you're very special to us. And because you are, our doors are always open, either electronically or especially at the coffee house, and with no pressure to become a Rotarian, but just drop in because, you're a good friend. You're very important to us, and hopefully we can be supportive of your vision, your objectives and goals. So take care and be safe, and we'll see you at the parade, if not before.
All right. All right. Well, thanks again for having me.
You bet. All right, Diane. With regard to what we think, say, and do, 1, is it the truth? 2, is it fair to all concerned? 3, will it build goodwill and better friendships? 4, will it be beneficial to all concerned? And Stanley?
We will have fun.
All right, take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Hey,
Have a
Bill.
good one, everyone.
Hey, Bill,
Yes,
Bill.
I'm still on.
You didn't mention RLI.
RLI 3, we finished.
Yeah, I didn't want to be bragging, Stanley, but Jackie and I have finished RLI 3.
I did too.
Oh,
Were you there, Stanley?
Yeah, I did RLI too.
Oh, you did too. Oh, Stanley just wanted us to announce his. Hey, Stanley, congratulations. I didn't know that. And what I will do is I'll send out an announcement where we are on RLI.
Okay,
and,
great.
When are you going to do 3, Stan?
Next time it comes out.
There you go. You're a good Rotarian. Yay. All right. Take care, everyone.
Adios.
bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.